E aí galera, tranquilos? Sejam bem-vindos a mais uma live do Brian Jordan. E hoje galera, a live de hoje vamos concentrar aqui na história da Návia, que é uma personagem que já lançou seu banner. Muita gente tá gostando da personagem, estão até elogiando que a Návia é a melhor personagem do elemento gel e também a melhor personagem de espadones. E finalmente, ainda bem que a Návia tá recebendo muitos esses elogios, que a galera tá gostando da personagem, principalmente da sua gameplay, do seu dano. Porque quando um personagem é forte no jogo, a galera elogia. Mas se um personagem é fraco e ruim, que eles tanto pensam dessa maneira, eles descartam, não falam desse personagem e depois ignoram por completo. Tanto que inventa essa historinha aqui, eu aposentei esse personagem só porque é fraco. Dá pra ver como a galera do mundo do Genshin Impact é tão ignorante com os personagens que só se importa com aquele personagem se ele é forte. Mas se é um personagem que não causa um dano como eles tanto queria, eles descartam o personagem e não quer mais saber dele. A DRA, que foi uma personagem de Sumero, ela foi o exemplo disso. Muita gente queria que a DRA fosse uma das personagens mais fortes do jogo do elemento Pyro só porque ela tem um visual muito estiloso. Mas como ela não veio o que eles queriam, eles descartaram. Mas isso aí foi o maior erro deles, porque pelo que eu sei, algumas informações que foi soltado uns tempos atrás, antes das atualizações 4.2 a 4.1, foi vazado que a DRA tinha sido um pouquinho bufada, tinha deixado ela um pouquinho mais forte. Não sei se isso aí é verdade ou não, pois eu não deixei a personagem ainda mais forte para testar se ela tá forte ou não. Mas quando eu botar mais bufamento de artefatos na DRA, deixar ela mais forte, vou ver se ela ficou mais forte mesmo ou se ele tá do mesmo. Eu tomo que a Royalverse deixa a DRA mais forte. Mas vamos ver aqui a história da Návia. Eu tô muito curioso como vai ser essa história da Návia, já que ela teve muito destaque na saga de Fontaine. Ela teve um bom desenvolvimento, mostrou muita coisa sobre o personagem. Eu quero tanto saber como vai ser essa quest dela.
If it isn't my dear partners!
That voice! It's Návia!
I didn't expect to run into you guys here today. Are you headed somewhere?
How about you, Návia? Are you still busy rebuilding Poisson?
We've wrapped up most of the rebuilding, but there are still a few things left to take care of. Stocking up on materials, confirming construction timelines, discussing compensation terms with families affected by the disaster. Between all of that, I've been making a lot of trips between the court and Poisson. Well, though the victims have received relief payments from the court, in my opinion, as the administrators of Poisson, Spina di Rosula should take some responsibility as well. Our financial situation right now isn't the best, so all we've been doing is signing agreements for the damages to be repaid at a later date. Though just pieces of paper now, they demonstrate our commitment. They're necessary to restore the people's faith in us.
Oh, spoken like a true president. You're a really responsible leader. That must be taking up most of your time, though, right?
Oh, you bet. Between that and all the other errands I have to run at the court, I'm always forgetting one thing or another. So before I came over this time, I took a page from Melusa's book and decided to make a list of everything. This way, and then, since Melus loved using shorthand, I decided to also follow his example and come up with some shorthand of my own. But after running a few errands in the city, I'm kind of struggling to even read my own handwriting anymore.
That does sound like you, all right. So what kind of shorthand did you use?
Oh, wanna take a look?
Let Paimon see. Wait, there's nothing here but a bunch of weird symbols. This looks like a piece of kelp wrapped around a stick. And this other one, is it supposed to be a boar in a box?
The first one has to do with confirming the final payment amount for the fishermen, while the second one is a reminder to try the new burger that just hit the market.
Okay, Paimon can definitely see how you might forget what each of these mean.
Thank you for your advice. These are the kinds of things you only really figure out once you've tried them out yourself. I thought that as long as I understood my shorthand when I came up with it, I'd be sure to remember the symbols when I looked at them later. Unfortunately, I've...
Well, now you know for next time.
Anyway, I should have already taken care of most of the things on the list. There are still a few symbols that I can't decipher, but I don't think they're anything too super important. Worst comes to worst, I'll just make another trip.
Ah, so you're going to head back now?
Yep, that's the plan. Oh, actually, since we talked about the reconstruction earlier, want to come with me and check out the town for yourself? You said you don't have any plans, right? So we can just catch a boat and head over.
It's a bit sudden, but Paimon doesn't see why not. What do you think?
Then let's go. We'll take a boat over.
Oh, you mean the Aquabus, right? Like the Clementine line?
Oh, sorry. I meant our own boat. The Aquabus doesn't have a station near Poisson, so we'll use one of the Spina's boats. All right, follow me. I'll take you there.
Olha, se o diálogo aqui ficou amarelo, significa que podemos escolher se podemos ir com a nave junto ou se ela vai primeiro. Mas como eu escolhi, a gente vai junto. Eu pensei que essa era uma parte que a gente podia fazer alguma coisinha de iniciar essa parte da missão. Mas pelo jeito não é o caso.
The engineer is still doing a few routine safety checks. We can head out as soon as we get the green light.
So, Paimon has always wanted to ask. The 3 Aquabus lines are all named after people in your family, right?
Yeah, that's right. Callus and Navia are self-explanatory, while Clementine was the name that my mother went by.
If you provided the Mora to build the lines, then why isn't there even a dedicated line to Poisson? Spina di Rosula built all the lines, yet you still have to take a special boat just to go home. Paimon doesn't get it.
Well, what I heard is that most of our businesses don't actually use Poisson as a hub, so there was no real reason to build a line straight to Poisson. You are right that it is a bit strange, though. If you've already committed to build 3 lines, why not just add a 4th?
Yeah, that's what Paimon's saying. The Aquabus is so convenient, it's really a huge shame.
Well, it is what it is. You know what my father was like. Even I often struggled to figure out what was going on in his head. But that would only be the case if he cared about what others thought. My father was always really stubborn. Once he made up his mind, good luck getting him to change it. From what I've heard, the rights of all the other members of the Spina only went as far as giving him advice or suggestions, and no farther. That included my mother, too.
Huh. Well, that explains why you weren't on the greatest of terms with him.
Yeah, because I wouldn't just let him keep getting his way. He was just... not very agreeable.
Boss, the boat's ready. We can head out.
All right, then let's head out. It'll be a while before we get to Poisson. Let's keep talking.
Navia, what was your mother like as a person? Oh, Paimon's sorry. She totally forgot that you mentioned before that she passed away during childbirth, so you probably don't remember her at all.
That's all right. I've heard many stories about her from the rest of the Spina. They've always said that they were sure we would have gotten along famously. While my papa was stiff like a board, my mother was supposedly super cheerful and funny. Their complementary personalities allowed them to make up for each other's flaws. My father would run the businesses and expand our reach, while my mother would keep the peace and make sure that everyone was happy. Their work made sure that the Spina could grow and thrive.
Sounds like they were not just a well-matched couple, but fantastic business partners as well.
Yeah, but those are just stories and anecdotes after all. It's hard for me to piece together a more complete or intimate picture of her. But sometimes, I'd still look at the Clementine line and wonder, would the Spina and Poisson still be what they are today had my mother survived? Silver once said that a name is a kind of inscription, a way to etch a memory into the world. When given a name, a cold, inanimate object can gain a completely new meaning. So, I will always associate the line with her in my heart. Over the past few weeks, I've also begun to appreciate how water can take in and hold our most intense feelings and memories, as well as how one may reflect on their past by watching the sea. I've lost many beloved people and memories to the sea. Even though I cannot stop for them and must continue to keep moving, the fact won't change that they existed in my life and gave me the reason and motivation to move forward. Always. But no matter what, we can't change the past. But I tell myself that I need to keep looking towards the future. Everyone, even my parents, have already overcome so many obstacles. Besides, I'm the president of Spina di Rosula. I've got to keep my chin up.
Dá pra ver que a nave amadureceu bastante desde a saga de Fontaine. E olha, eu tenho que dizer, a nave é uma personagem muito bonita, cara.
We've reached the shore. Let's go. I'll show you the new poisson.
Navia, do you think she's doing all right? Okay, Paimon supposes you're right. She's really been through a lot. It couldn't have been easy shouldering so much by herself.
Entre e Poisson. Onde fica esse Poisson? Ah, quando eu tinha iniciado aqui a missão da quest da Návia, meio que já apareceu mais um evento aqui do jogo, que é Rosas e Pistolas. Que já mostrei isso aqui no short sobre essa atualização. E tava certo. A Hayaka vai aparecer mesmo nesse evento. Olha ela aí, tá até usando a própria skin de Fontaine pra provar isso. E dá pra ver que a Furina vai ser a roteirista da história do negocinho dela de teatro. Eu não consegui pegar a nave ainda. Eu já fiz os meus tiros de banner na personagem, quer dizer, no banner dela. Não consegui pegar ela. As únicas que eu consegui pegar, a constelação é apenas da Rosária e da Cadence. Mas eu tomara que consigo pegar a nave, pois eu achei ela muito bonita. Eu gostei bastante da gameplay dela quando fiz na parte de testes. Se você não sabia, você pode fazer testes dos personagens, quando você pode querer eles ou não querer. Vamos ver como é que vai ser a história da nave, porque eu tô bem curioso, porque ela tá tentando se fazer que tá bem, mas não está.
Boss, you're back! Traveler and Paimon, welcome back to Poisson.
Oh, hey! Fancy seeing you again, Florent. Is it your turn to take care of Navia now?
Hey, I can totally take care of myself. For the time being, I'll go around without any attendance. We did hand over some of Malus's old responsibilities to Florent, though. It's been really nice to have him around to help out.
Thank you for the compliment, boss. As you see, I've been working closely with the boss on rebuilding Poisson. Mr. Malus was an extremely capable and respected member of the Spina. I've got some really big shoes to fill.
All right. There's no need to be so formal. Everyone's practically old friends by now. Were you waiting here for me? Did we manage to make any progress on the statue?
Yeah, we contacted a sculptor about the job, but they can't get started on sourcing a correctly sized block without knowing the design that we want to use first.
You're commissioning a statue?
So basically, we've been meaning to commission a statue of my parents in commemoration of everything they've done for the Spina and the town of Poisson. But since my father was known as callously unfaithful for the longest time, it would have been too controversial to commission a statue of him. But now that his name has been cleared, and the town is also being rebuilt, I thought this would be the perfect chance to actually realize this dream.
The funds to build the statue were freely donated by the people of Poisson. to show their appreciation for Miss Clementine and Mr. Callis, and everything they did.
Me? I'm just the newbie president that's running around and causing everyone trouble. Maybe we can have this conversation again in a few decades, once I've done more for the town and the people.
Hey, there's no need to be so humble. Didn't you just help save the entire country?
I agree wholeheartedly. I also believe that Boss should have a place on the statue.
Hey, if you keep inflating my ego like this, I might just float off into the sky with my parasol. Just kidding. There's no way that I'd accept that kind of compliment at face value. At a minimum, I'd have to match what my father did for the people. Thanks for the vote of confidence. I just don't think I'm ready yet. Anyway, Florent, now it's up to us to confirm the final design, right?
Mm-hmm. We can ask the sculptor to start looking for a good block once we've decided on the poses for Miss Clementine and Mr. Callis. But we haven't had any real discussions yet on the possible designs. I feel like I should get a few promising designs first, and then send them over to you to review.
There's no need for all that. Let's decide on a design right now. Hey, you! Come over here with me. Modeling a few poses, of course. Here, just pretend to be Callis, and I'll be Clementine. Didn't you say on the boat that Callis and Clementine sounded like great partners? Well, then there's no one better to fill this role than my most valuable partner. Florent, let's grab some reference shots.
You've got it, boss. I'll go get the camera.
Well, what do you think? Got any ideas? Well, I've actually discussed it a bit with Florent before, but I could never come up with any fresh or original ideas. It's probably because my idea of them is already kind of set in stone. So, I want to pick your brain for a bit, and see if you can come up with some new and interesting ideas.
I'm all good here, boss. Feel free to start posing whenever.
A happy pose? You mean something like we were laughing together at a funny joke?
Would all that be able to come through with just a picture?
Would we even be able to tell what they are supposed to be laughing about?
Yeah, and that'd probably be a massive pain to sculpt as well.
Can one of you try striking a pose like you're talking while the other one laughs? That actually sounds pretty hard to pull off. Forget it, let's try something else.
Imposing, huh? Oh, I've got it. Let's try this.
This pose! It makes me recall Spina di Rosula's glorious golden age.
But isn't Clementine's pose a bit too bold and heroic? Was she really that kind of person? If we were to stick with this pose, maybe people would wonder if she was actually the real boss behind the scenes.
Well, tabloids did indeed speculate as much back in the day, but the Spina pulled a few strings and made both the report and the journalist,
Oh, Paimon was just kidding! Please don't make Paimon disappear.
What Florent meant was that we asked the journalist to choose a new alias. You're right, though, that this may not accurately represent the image of her in our hearts. Let's try to come up with something else. By that, do you mean as if we were standing on a boat and looking out at the sea? Sure, let's give that a try.
Whoa, you really remind Paimon of a captain and their first mate.
Look over there, my dear Clementine. As you can see, every tree on that island is dripping with mora fruit.
But there's something off with the composition. This pose makes Mr. Callis look too tall next to the lady.
Oh, I see what you mean. Then let's swap.
know Paimon is a fan. A statue like this would look fantastic on a boat.
Wait, but we can't do that. Very few people would see the statue if we were to put it on a boat. This statue is meant to be placed in the town.
But then, since we're putting it in the town, the whole point of the pose would be lost.
Oh, okay. We'll try to think of something else. We tried a bunch of different ideas, but none of them felt right. Paimon's all out of brain juice now, too.
Oh, don't worry. We still got a lot of reference shots out of the session, and each of them can be considered to be a souvenir in their own right. Let's just keep the ideas we tried as backups. Man, if I knew I was going to do a photo shoot with the Traveler, I would have prepared a lot of outfits and props ahead of time. Oh, outfits! Ugh, that's the errand I forgot back in the city. Do either of you still remember that girl? The girl I went to see with you two. Her name is Adele.
Oh, Paimon remembers her. She was the one that we met while investigating Mr. Callus's case, right?
Yes, that's exactly who I'm talking about. So, after the case, she was finally willing to talk to me, and she told me that she wanted to join the Spina too. I said that it's fine, but young children are not allowed to join the Spina. She will just have to wait a few years, and then we'll welcome her with open arms. Since she's still a child, though, she thought I was just trying to let her down gently. But how could I get her to believe that I meant what I said? In the end, I came up with an idea. I'd have a Spina uniform made and give it to her as a gift. But I got so busy and distracted in the city that I forgot to pick the uniform up. So I did forget something important after all.
Don't worry, boss. I can send someone to pick it up right away.
On the matter of the statue, we should still come up with a few more ideas for the design. I'll have to trouble you to source some for me.
We could have just done that from the start. Yeah, you're right. They'll have some value as souvenirs at least.
Navia! Florent, guess who's back?
Huh? But aren't you supposed to...
Oh, well, if it isn't Coulter. Back already from the Fortress of Meripede?
That's right. I finally finished serving my time. Gotta say, turns out I was a lot tougher than I thought. After I got out, I immediately made a beeline back to Poisson. You could say that familiar, briny smell became a primal call, urging me to forget everything else and just come back home. You wouldn't believe how much I've missed Melissa's grilled fish. I dreamed about it every time I had to get a welfare meal down there underneath the sea.
It's good to have you back, Coulter. You look as well as ever.
And this guy is?
Let me introduce you. This is Coulter, another of Spina di Rosula's members. He was found guilty and sentenced to the Fortress of Meripede some time ago. But, looking at it now, it was probably another one of Marcel's plots while he worked at the Confrérie of Cabrières.
Wait, Mr. Marcel? What do you mean? He was involved in some sort of plot?
Have you not heard anything at all about the water from the Primordial Sea case?
Well, I know that Fontaine got flooded, but then the water levels miraculously receded. I thought that was all there was to it and didn't care to ask for any more details. Do you mean Mr. Marcel was somehow involved with all that?
Oh, looks like we'll have to explain everything from the top. That case... a lot of things have happened in Poisson since then. First things first, let me introduce you to these two. They're my most trusted partners, and they've been with me through thick and thin. Now you could call them Spina di Rosula's VIP help.
Oh, nice to meet you. I don't recall Navia ever generously complimenting anyone like that before. So you must be pretty amazing to get that from her.
Yeah, we are indeed pretty amazing. But we've been cool since before we even met her.
Humble again as always, I see. Even when I was totally sincere with my praise.
Nice. Spina di Rosula always seems to attract great people. Oh, that reminds me. Where are Malus and Silver? Aren't they always by your side?
About that.
Coulter, a lot of things happened while you were gone. As you can see, even Poisson isn't quite the same as...
They lost their lives, keeping me safe during the flood.
What did you say? This isn't some kind of morbid welcome home prank, right? You're just scaring me on purpose because I don't...
I'm sorry, but it's the truth. They weren't the only people we lost either. Many others, including Melissa, also lost their lives in the disaster.
Malus and Melissa, dead. They're just gone? Malus. I was planning to give him a surprise gift once I ran into him again in town.
Hey! Keep it together!
Malus and Coulter were friends for many years, and even served on many missions together during the early days of the Spina. I can understand how he feels.
Let's sit down somewhere, so I can tell you everything that has happened while you were gone. Fair warning, there was a lot.
Okay.
Fale com o Collier. Então tá, vamos falar com o Collier. E mais uma vez a história onde os dois camaradas da nave morreram foi repetida de novo. Eu tomara que a Rota Studio melhore de vez o Tower Fantasy, porque é o que mais tá precisando. As cutscenes ficam meio que travadas às vezes. Tem hora que os personagens não... É pra falar e não solta a voz. Se a Rota Studio queria criar um jogo parecido igual do Genshin Impact, é melhor ter sido um jogo single player, não um jogo focado tão no multiplayer. Isso foi o maior erro deles. Porque o Genshin Impact, ele não foi só um sucesso por causa da história dos personagens, mas por causa da sua premissa. É claro que diversas empresas chinesas iam aproveitar esse sucesso da Royalverse para criar jogos parecidos. O que a Rota Studio fez no Tower Fantasy para tentar copiar o jogo tão na cara do Genshin foi o erro deles, porque eles criaram o Tower Fantasy, não fizeram um jogo ser muito original do próprio estúdio, que aconteceu isso, mas estão tentando reconstruir esse tipo de coisa no Thor nos dias de hoje, fazendo um novo Thor Fantasy 2, Thor Fantasy 2. Não sei se vai ser Thor Fantasy 2 ou vai ser Thor Fantasy 2.0.
It's unbelievable. I can't believe that those stories were real. It all really happened. Has the world gone mad?
I think you and I both feel the same way about the profound tragedy of Melusa's loss. And the sheer depravity of Marcel's actions.
I thought Mr. Marcel would always stand by the Spina. Everything he had, the Spina gave to him. It's unconscionable to have received all that, and yet still plot to kidnap and dissolve you for his insane research.
The good news is that the Confrérie of Cabriere is no more. Gone with them too is the entire synth manufacturing and distribution network. We finally closed the curtain on that long struggle.
Are you sure? But if Marcel wanted to rebel against us, he probably sent word in secret to...
Realm who?
Huh. Not a name I've heard before either.
Florent should remember him. You see, there was once a major internal dispute regarding funding the construction of the Aquabus lines. Romeu was the leader of the faction that thought such a vast sum of mora would be better spent improving the town of Poisson. But Mr. Callis believed that an opportunity to collaborate with the court of Fontaine and the Fontaine Research Institute was hard to come by, and would allow us to build many valuable relationships. Not only would the Aquabus be a good business investment, it would also boost our reputation among the general populace, eventually paying us massive dividends down the line. But the two couldn't come to an agreement. Romeu ended up taking a lot of people with him when he left Spina di Rosula altogether, and the split was on extremely bad terms.
Ugh. And with Papa's stubbornness, I can definitely imagine how it must have gone down.
And of course, when he was suffering the slings and arrows of outrageous injustice, those relationships that he spent a fortune to build didn't help in the least.
Yeah, you could say it was the price he paid for sticking to his beliefs.
Oh, that's a good point. If Callus was really as stubborn as you say, then wouldn't he have argued with the rank and file all the time?
Oh yeah, it eventually became a thing that just happened on every day that ended with Y. But Navia, Boss, you might not know this, but he wasn't always like that. He used to be a lot better with taking counsel. With him listening to our advice, and Ms. Clementine also frequently on our side, it was pretty smooth sailing for a good many years. But on the matter of the Aquabus, even Ms. Clementine completely stood by Mr. Callus's side.
Huh. I never knew. But from my perspective, Romeo's position had a lot going for it. Couldn't they have sat down and talked it out?
I think the Aquabus was just the straw that broke the camel's back. On that topic, they eventually came to a rather radical conclusion. They believed that Miss Clementine lost her ability to serve as an impartial mediator when she became pregnant with Callus's child.
So, they thought she had betrayed them? But that doesn't make any sense. Before she was their mediator, my mother was also her own person, and a member of the Spina. She should have the right to take any side she wished.
Yeah, but to them, even taking a side was betrayal enough. They felt like their voices could no longer be heard once their sole mediator had gone over to the other side. Of course, Ms. Clementine then passed away, and Mr. Callus began to regard the completion of the Aquabus project as her final wish. With that, the last hope of reconciliation was gone.
So that's what happened.
From that point on, Romeo and his people cut ties with the Spina, and never gave us any kind of professional or personal courtesy ever again. Perhaps they've regarded us as enemies ever since they left. But even so, there is still no proof that they ever acted in concert with Marcel.
I've also heard that they aren't in a good financial position, so they've been lying low for a while. But as long as they exist, they'll continue to be a threat.
Huh. I think Coulter's got a point. Both Marcel and Romeo had my father in their sights for a very long time. Even though Marcel's faction has been dissolved, we still don't know anything about Romeo's whereabouts. If they're still trying to get revenge on us, with how distracted and vulnerable we are, now would be the best time.
Good thinking, boss. We should keep an eye on them at all times. I'll let my men know right away.
Thank you for that, Florent. And Coulter, thank you for telling me about this as well.
Don't worry, it's nothing. Do you have a moment right now? How about we go out for a walk? I've heard so many incredulous things today. I'm finding it a bit hard to calm down even now. I mean, to think that I'll just...
In that case, why don't we go back to the court? I can pick up Adele's uniform while we're there as well. It'll save Laurent's guys a trip. Want to come with me again, you two? You don't mind, do you, Coulter?
Of course. That's fine by me.
Then let's go! Paimon feels like a lot's hinging on this visit.
We really are the best of partners. Come on, let's go.
Em pensar que esse NPC tava preso lá na fortaleza. Eu nem tinha encontrado esse cara nem por algum minuto. Onde fica? Ah, pois é bem perto. Olha, até o login tá bem melhor do que antes, pois vocês sabem que o login do Genshin era meio um pouquinho demorado. Mas meio que por alguma coisa a Royoverse se melhorou. Algumas pessoas até reclamam que queriam melhorias no Genshin, mas a Royoverse botou essas melhorias que queriam no Genshin no Honkai Star Rail. Bom, eu até que entendo por que a Royoverse botou as melhorias que os fãs queriam no Genshin para o Star Rail. Porque os jogos baseados em turno não são jogos que tem muito interesse do público.
walk from time to time, isn't it? Think of it as something like a hiking trip. Once we're there, we can stay a few days before we return.
Sounds good. I haven't walked this road in a long time.
Às vezes, até me pergunto. A galera devia saber que o que a Royalverse faz é muito foda e legal e de qualidade. Muitos até falam que a Royalverse é uma empresa mercenária e que quando tem gente que defende a empresa é gente trouxa. Os caras não respeitam. Se a Royalverse fosse realmente uma empresa mercenária, eles teriam fazido o seu jogo ser pago e não grátis. E outra, também estariam trazendo conteúdos novos para os seus jogos com uma coisa paga e não uma coisa grátis. Como no caso o Destiny. O Destiny, eu não trago muito o conteúdo desse jogo aqui no canal, pois o jogo, ele é muito mercenário. Pois, para você poder apreciar o modo campanha do Destiny, você precisa pagar o conteúdo para poder ver a história. O passe de batalha contém um evento da história, você tem que comprar o bendito passe de batalha para poder ver a história. Nossa, cara, é muita ganância da Bud ter feito isso com o Destiny. Não é à toa que o Destiny não é um dos jogos até agora que não é falado por muita gente. A Bud, em vez de melhorar o jogo pra ser uma coisa bem melhor ainda, ele só deixa o jogo ainda mais mercenário. É por isso que eu não trago muito Destiny aqui no canal e eu trago mais do Genshin. Bom, as únicas coisas que eu posso trazer de conteúdo do Destiny aqui no canal pra vocês é só a primeira parte da história que é gratuita, mas já o resto não tem como não.
Well, we've walked far enough for now. Let's take a break. Since we're out for a walk, we shouldn't stress too much about the destination.
I've grown old, so I'm not as fit as before. It's a good thing that at least my work down in the fortress was quite the workout.
Well, Paimon thinks you're doing great. We didn't have to slow down for you at all.
Back in the days before the aquabus lines were built, we often had to hike north with our goods, then catch a boat to the court. Malus and I must have traveled this way hundreds of times. When we were tired, we would lay down for a while on the grass, and when we were hungry, we'd catch a fish or two. The spina was still on the rise back then. Mr. Callus was generous, and everyone had the chance to strike it rich. So, of course, we all worked really hard. And now, in the blink of an eye, the aquabus lines have been built, and this road has fallen into disuse. Oh, I know. I was just being a little nostalgic.
Then let's stay here a bit longer. Anyone want snacks?
Oh, is this another chance to try some of Navia's macarons? Paimon's been dreaming of them.
Yep, I figured you wouldn't say no to a few more. Oh, wait. Let me check if I have all the ingredients. Malus and Silver used to take care of tasks like this. Okay, the stove's looking good. And as for the ingredients, seems like we're all out of flour and sugar. The two most important ingredients of all. Oh, would you? Oh, but it would be too much to ask you to go on a trip just for the...
We should contribute to making the macaron too. Don't worry, we cook out in the wild all the time, so she should have some stuff on hand.
Oh, that's great. Then I'll leave the ingredient gathering to you. As long as we have some sweet flowers and wheat, I can start the baking.
Then I'll go look for some boxes nearby for a makeshift table and chairs.
Great. Then I'll prep the stove. Let's get to work, everyone. Ah, how did it go? You've all done your part. Just leave the rest to me.
Whoa, these macarons look and taste magnificent! Your cooking is as good as ever, Navia.
Boss's baking skills have always been famous. Everyone in the Spina knows how exceptionally talented she is.
Oh, it's just a hobby. There's no need to praise me for it like that.
Have you two seriously never considered joining us? You're so close to the boss, and she obviously trusts you with all her heart, so... I see. Is that why you have to always stay on the road?
You just happened to walk in on our little reunion. It's actually been quite a while since we last spent time together. Adventurers never stay in one place for long. The name of Spina di Rosula would just tie them down. Besides, after everything we've been through together, I'm sure our hearts would remain intertwined even if we found ourselves on opposite sides of the world.
Even if Paimon was far beyond the horizon, she'd still remember the delicious taste of Navia's macaron.
I understand now. Then I am very lucky indeed to have been graced with the chance to meet the two of you. I will endeavor to make the most of this short yet fortuitous encounter, and enjoy every moment we spend together.
We've got no wine with us, but let's still toast with water, in celebration of this moment.
Cheers! Hey, what are you doing? Quick, join in on the toast!
May your travels go smoothly, may the Spina continue to grow, and may our friendship last until the end. All set? Let's move out then. I asked some old acquaintances in town to make Adele's uniform, so we should be able to pick it up right away.
Eu tô achando que a gente tá sendo seguido nessa parte da história da missão. Bom, não sabemos se é apenas um bicho ou é apenas uma pessoa que tá ali pra ouvir a conversa, mas só vamos saber se não mostra mais coisas da quest da Návia. E olha, eu tenho que dizer, a quest da Furina foi muito foda, cara. Nossa, eu fico muito feliz que a Furina não pode não ter mais o título de Arcoach Hydro, mas pelo menos ela tá se dando muito bem sendo uma atriz que faz teatro. Pelo menos é uma coisa boa que a Furina pode fazer na sua vida, por enquanto. Tomara que a Furina se torne a Arcoach Hydro oficial e não uma falsa Arcoach Hydro.
Hey there, Ludovine. How's business lately?
The Demoiselle of Spina de Rosula. I must say, your generous patronage is the one thing keeping me from going bankrupt.
Nonsense. We all know what a talented businesswoman you are. Oh, and don't forget, she's the boss now.
My mistake, my mistake. Are you here for the uniform?
Yep. I forgot to drop by earlier when I was running errands around here.
I didn't expect Demoiselle to come and pick it up in person. It's just a uniform after all.
Navia's always liked to take even small things seriously.
Hey, that's not the only reason I'm here. We mostly just needed a walk to clear our heads. There are few things more uplifting than taking the first step on a new journey.
Boss has got a point. Going on a trip with friends is always better than staying cooped up at home.
Very well. Please, wait here while I retrieve the uniform for you.
Can someone remind Paimon again why Adele wants to join the Spina?
She hasn't given me any concrete reasons. All she says is that she really looks up to me. After we cleared her father's name, she became a lot more cheerful and outgoing. It's probably because she now knows for sure that her father was never a bad person. She said she used to be terrified of Papa, so as a result, she found all the rest of the Spina super scary as well. But the Spina is very different now. She mustered up the courage to talk to me, and felt like I could really understand her. Yeah, you could say that. By uncovering the truth about the case, I was able to give her closure at the same time. She said that she wanted to become someone like me. Someone who could lend a hand to others, instead of standing still and waiting for others to help her.
From the sound of it, she'll be a wonderful addition to the Spina.
I think so too. But for now, let's focus on giving her a great atmosphere to grow and thrive. She can commit to us once she's older, and can really make that decision for herself.
Is something up, Traveler? Huh? Tailing? Oh, Paimon's coming.
I'll go check it out too. Coulter, please hold on to this for me.
All right.
Paimon saw them too! They headed up!
Stop right there! Go!
We knew you were going to be difficult!
Seems like if we want them to talk, we're gonna need to teach them a lesson first.
Brothers, there's no need to skulk in the dark anymore. Let's take them out!
Acabar conosco? Ah, seu idiota, você cometeu o maior erro da sua vida. Vamos dar uma testada aqui na nave! Olha o dano, cara! Olha só o dano da nave, tem que admitir. Ela é forte mesmo, hein? E também o que mais aumenta da nave é esses projéteis aqui da personagem. Ah, mas é só isso, eu queria mais.
Now, talk. Who are you? And why were you tailing us?
Don't think we'll let you off easy if you keep silent.
How did it go, boss?
If you thought they stood any chance against us, you were sorely mistaken. Anyway, stop playing tough and start talking. There won't be any room for negotiation once the Maison Gardiennage gets involved.
We're looking to get vengeance on Spina di Rosula. We were discovered and can't beat you in a fight. We admit it. We lost.
Get revenge? Wait, you're not Romeu's followers.
You actually know that name? But if you do, then surely you should understand why we hate you so much.
Indeed. You haven't got the faintest hope of winning right now.
We were out drinking when we saw Navia. We got so angry we decided to follow you guys and look for an opportunity to really mess up your day. Too bad you guys messed up ours first. Huh? You're pretty sharp, but so what? We didn't do anything. And now it should be pretty obvious that we can't do anything to you anyway. Seeing you like that just really ticked us off. And we let the drink go to our heads.
Listen, Callus is long dead. No matter what happened in the past, I want to be able to start things anew. I am the current president of Spina di Rosula. If your boss wants to talk with me, I'd be happy to meet with him. I won't press charges for your attack. That should also help demonstrate my sincerity.
I understand. Thank you. I'll let our boss know.
But if you so much as think about pulling something like this again, I won't be so lenient next time.
All right. We get it. Come on, let's go.
Are you sure it's okay to just let them go like that, Navia?
I don't want to inherit my father's grudges, too. Moreover, when it comes to the Aquabus, I don't think what my father did was entirely correct either. If the other side is willing to talk, I'm happy to open the door for a reconciliation. Opportunities for new beginnings are all around us.
I support Boss's decision as well. The concept of an eye for an eye is a primitive practice that has no place in today's Spina di Rosula.
Yes. Plus, we already know that they're strapped for cash. If their financial situation is that dire, they don't have what it takes to challenge us. So this may be the best time to talk. I still think we should keep an eye out for Romeu's folks, though. If he decides to ignore the warning I gave his men, then we could still have a fight on our hands.
Yeah, those guys definitely didn't look like big fans of yours.
I'd rather things not go that far, since, though we haven't talked to each other for years, once upon a time we were all a part of the Spina di Rosula family.
Yep, that's how I feel as well. Anyway, now that we've sent them packing, We don't have to worry about those guys anymore. It's getting late already. So why don't we stay the night in the Fleuve Cendre? We can head back to Poisson tomorrow. I'll also ask someone to write Florent a letter and inform him of everything that happened here today, so he can increase security around Poisson and be on guard against any suspicious individuals.
Do we have to stay in the Fleuve Cendre again? Even the pillows there smell like seaweed.
Sorry, that's just what happens when you live near water and don't get much sunlight. Poisson's pretty much the same though, so I've long since gotten used to it. We can still go out in the evening for some grilled fish and drinks though. Betcha there'll be people singing sea shanties too. How does that sound?
Huh. That does sound pretty cool. Okay, Paimon's on board now. Let's go! Paimon wants to sing too!
Lidamos com essa gente pra não ficar atrapalhando, mas é provável que vai aparecer de novo. Eu tomara que essa parte da gameplay da nave não seja só isso, que seja mais. Pois ultimamente parece que a Royalverse meio que tá diminuindo muito as partes da gente poder... as partes de poder jogar ainda mais com os personagens das suas quests. Porque foi assim com a Nilou. Foi muito chato a quest da Nilou. Eu não falei nada porque eu não me importei muito, mas depois que o pessoal falou alguma coisa a respeito da quest da Nilou, principalmente do Kamisato Hayato, aí que eu comecei a olhar de novo pelas quests que eu fiz das lives do Kamisato Hayato e da Nilou, percebi que tava chato mesmo. As quests deles não foi muito profundo, não mostrou muita coisa sobre a Nilou, principalmente o Kamisato Hayato, só fizeram eles fazer um deverzinho e só. E só botando uma cutscene de nada. Mas ainda bem que a Royalverse melhorou isso nas próximas quests dos personagens. Eu tomara que eles não cometem esse tipo de erro de novo.
Coming back here really does feel like this place is starting to grow on Paimon. If you think about it, it would be kind of weird if the Spina's base at the court was some super luxurious building like the Palais Mermonia.
Totally. Right on the money, Paimon. Although, of course, with the continued growth of the Spina, Papa wanted Poisson to eventually grow into a metropolis, not unlike the court. He was a very ambitious man, who rarely looked behind or beneath him. For better or worse, that always made him stand out from the crowd.
And that's also why people hated him just as much as they loved him.
All right. Why don't you go wait for me at the restaurant? I'll go do some prep and I'll get someone to tidy up your room while I'm at it. You can use the same room as last time. You still remember the room number, yeah?
Yep. Kinda hard to forget when there are only so many rooms here after all.
Oh, did I just hear someone taking a dig at Fleuve Cendre? I'll tell my guys to stuff your pillows full of actual seaweed right now.
Oh, Paimon, sorry! Please have mercy, Navia. If you do that, then Paimon really won't be able to sleep at...
I was just kidding. Be on your way now. Hello? Are you asleep yet? Oh no, not at all. I just figured that since we don't get to enjoy nights like these very often, wanna go fishing? I've got some rods and lures ready.
Oh, so that's the prep you were talking about. Sure, we'll come.
Hopefully I didn't wake you or anything. Don't worry. You don't have to do any actual fishing if you're too tired. Just think of it as keeping me company. How does that sound? Okay, let's go. To the fishing spot.
Essa parte da nave a querer pescar me lembra muito da primeira vez que a gente conheceu a Paimon. Sinceramente, já faz muito tempo que a Royalverse não traz nenhum personagem novo da região de Mondstadt e principalmente de Niue e Nazuma. Bom, se bem que Niue e Nazuma eles trouxeram um pouquinho a mais, mas já dos personagens de Mondstadt eles ignoraram muito. Mas muito mesmo, pois eu não vi mais nenhuma quest nova de algum personagem de Mondstadt, não vi nenhuma quest nova nenhuma quest nova do Vente, não vi nenhuma quest nova do Diluc, nem da Jean, nem do Albedo, nem de outros, cara. Já passou muito tempo desde que a gente viu a história de Mondstadt. A gente só viu a história de Mondstadt nos eventos, mas já uma quest nova deles não foi muito isso. Tá até parecendo que a Royalverse tá ignorando muito as histórias interessantes do Mondstadt, deixando bem mais as histórias mais à frente, ignorando o resto da história dos personagens de outras regiões. Isso é bem importante, isso pode até ser uma coisa errada que a Royalverse tá fazendo. E eu tomar que a Royalverse não cometa esse erro. Tomara que mais cedo ou mais tarde, ano que vem, eles tragam alguma quest nova dos personagens do Mondstadt, ou eles trazem um personagem novo de 4 estrelas de Mondstadt, essas coisas. Mas já ignorar eles por completo, não quero isso não. A gente não sabe muita coisa sobre os personagens de Mondstadt ainda não.
What's the problem? Lots of people in Poisson use rods like these.
But shouldn't fishing be all about, you know, attentively watching the float and then excitedly reeling in the catch when you finally hook something?
Well, that's one way to enjoy fishing. What do you think, Traveler? Then, let's try regular rods next time. We can have a real fishing competition.
Honestly, Paimon's mainly shocked at how much energy you still have at this hour. Usually by this time of night, it's a struggle for Paimon to even keep her eyes open.
Huh. It might just be something that runs in my family.
That's a thing?
I'm sure you'd get even sleepier if I delved more deeply into it. Anyway, I was just thinking about how grateful I am to my mother. My father always had a lot of unrealistic expectations for me. But the more that he tried to get me to become like him, the less I wanted to listen to what he had to say. My mother never had those kinds of expectations, though. I've heard that she had only one wish for me, which was that I would have a happy and secure childhood. All the members of the Spina greatly respected her wish, so no matter what I did as a child, they were happy to humor me. Can you imagine? Whenever my father wanted to scold me for something I'd done, everyone would form up into 2 rows and just stand silently and listen to him rant. Malus and Silver were always there too. No matter what Papa yelled, nobody else would say a word. Eventually, Papa must have recognized scolding me over trivial matters was pointless, because he eventually stopped getting on my case so often.
Paimon would have never guessed.
Yeah. Looking back on it now as an adult, I can hardly believe how patient and kind everyone was. When I was young, I often thought that I could do whatever I wanted, because there'd always be someone there to clean up after me. But once, I saw Malus come back wounded. He wouldn't tell me how he'd been injured, but I could tell it had something to do with me. I learned then that there's always a cost to making a mistake. The more you care about those around you, the more you should care about doing the right thing to the best of your abilities. Because if you do falter, there'll inevitably come a time when you'll have to face the consequences. And when that time comes, those most precious to you really will throw themselves in front of you and pay the price for your mistakes. Sorry. I shouldn't have brought that up. I wasn't planning to talk about sad things tonight. Basically, I was just saying that the nurturing atmosphere of the Spina must have been my mother's legacy, rather than my father's. And if that's the only way that I can continue to feel her love, then I'd like to pass that warmth on.
Is that why you let those guys go today?
Mm-hmm. Although, maybe there's a part of not wanting to repeat the mistakes of the past. I want to be reasonable, at least. Hey, look! I think you've got something on the line!
But why isn't the rod automatically reeling it in?
Oh, there must be something wrong with how I installed the mechanism. It was my first time putting one of those rods together. We can't let it get away. Come on, you two. Let's catch it.
You want Paimon to help too? You didn't attach a hook to your line?
Stop wasting time! The boss ain't gonna wait all day. We'll go ahead with the operation tomorrow. Do with that information as you wish.
Well, your rod was missing a part too, so I guess
Well, if we're just talking about the number of missing parts, sure. Oh, never mind. Paimon really can't keep her eyes open anymore.
All right. Go to bed. See you tomorrow. So how was last night? Did you get a good night's sleep?
Paimon dreamt that she danced with the sea stars, so you could say it was stellar. Get it?
Huh.
I didn't know you had such a great sense of humor.
See? This guy gets it!
Anyway, let's head out. I'll arrange for a boat to take us back to Poisson. I'm sure Adele will be happy to see you two again.
Paimon hopes she'll really appreciate your gift.
I hope so too.
Eu tô suspeitando que o Coulter pode ser um cúmplice desses caras, pois eu vi ele conversando com aquele cara que encontramos agorinha há pouco ali com eles. Nunca confie nas pessoas que você conhece, que não sabe o que aconteceu com ele, pode ter mudado de pensamento e de ideias que pode acontecer isso. Hã? Que recebeu? Recebemos aqui uma pessoa que é Giovan Sato. Bom. E aí, Brian? Bom, às vezes eu não conheço tantas pessoas do YouTube, então não conheço muitas pessoas, mas não sei quem é esse cara aqui não.
Adele, we're back. We brought you a gift from the court too.
Whoa! Thank you so much, boss!
Don't call her boss, okay, Adele? Just Miss Navia would be fine.
Oh, it's all right. I don't mind. Besides the gift, I've also got another surprise. Guess who's here?
It's been a while!
Oh, it's you two. It has been a while indeed. Thank you so much for your help on Jacques' case. I've heard that you also helped save all of Fontaine. You're truly just like the great heroes of legend.
O Sato aqui falou que faz um tempo que ia entrar numa live sua. Faz um tempo? Então o Sato deve ser algum dos meus inscritos que eu ganhei em algum dos meus vídeos. Pois, como a gente é criador de conteúdo, não sabemos quantas pessoas se inscrevem nos nossos canais para saber quem são eles ou quem não são.
You're really amazing! And if Miss Navia is your friend...
Vixe! Reconectando o serviço. Ai, que susto! Ufa!
Adele,
Nossa, cara, me
we're
assustou!
back. We brought you a gift from the
Eu
court,
pensei
too.
que a minha live fosse ser cortada agora mesmo e eu teria que trazer outra. Ufa, ainda bem que isso aí não aconteceu, cara. Ainda bem.
Whoa! Thank you so much, boss!
Don't call her boss, okay, Adele? Just Miss Navia would be fine.
Ele aqui falou: Você é autista mesmo? Você é autista mesmo? Claro que eu sou. Eu sou autista mesmo. Se o nome no meu canal é esse nome, o nome já diz tudo. Algumas pessoas podem não, achar que eu não sou autista só por causa das maneiras que eu falo e principalmente de criar conteúdo.
Oh, it's all right. I don't mind. Besides the gift, I've also got another surprise. Guess who's here?
It's been a while!
Oh, it's you two. It has been a while indeed. Thank you so much for your help on Jacques' case. I've heard that you also helped save all of Fontaine. You're truly just like the great heroes of legend.
You're really amazing! And if Miss Navia's your friend, then she must be super amazing too! What's in this thing? Can I look?
Of course. Go.
Oh, it's a Spina di Rosula uniform! Is it for me? But isn't it a bit big?
Well, it's a gift for future you. When you first told me that you were interested in joining the Spina, I was overjoyed. But it's the Spina's responsibility to protect everyone as well. Being a member means becoming involved in all kinds of dangerous situations. And since you're still young, I don't want your mom to have to worry about your safety.
O Sato aqui perguntou: E você, tem alguma rede social? Rede social... Bom, sim, eu tenho, que é o Instagram. Instagram, na verdade. Não sei se eu falei o nome certo.
So, I turned you down then by telling you that you'll have to wait until you're older. But this uniform is a promise that you can join us once you're old enough to wear it.
Oh, so that's it! Well, thank you so much, Miss Navia! I'll work hard and grow up as fast as I can!
But you can't really grow up faster by working hard. You've got to be patient.
Everyone, I'm really grateful that you remembered my daughter's wish and took it seriously. Thanks to the protection of the Spina, even though her father's no longer with us, we've still felt plenty of warmth and security.
O Sato perguntou: Tem mais alguém com você? Porque parece. Não, cara, desculpa aí. É que... Não tem. É só eu. É só eu que faço, não, mais ninguém. É só eu que faço os meus vídeos sozinho, eu que faço as minhas lives. Não tenho apoio de ninguém pra fazer as coisas pra mim nos meus vídeos. Então não tem ninguém, é só eu.
Oh, it's the least we could do. As long as you live in Poisson, even if you're not an official member, you're still part of the family.
Boss!
Huh? Is something up, Florent?
Ele aqui falou: Você fala Sato e perguntou: Parece que tá falando com mais alguém? Não, cara, eu só falo... Na verdade, eu mesmo falo isso. Aqui é pra dar mais algum pouquinho de charme da pessoa que tá fazendo live e pra dar mais chamar a atenção do espectador. É simples assim. Você fala que o Sato perguntou, é porque eu tô perguntando aqui mesmo, pra descrever o seu nome. Eu não converso com pessoas na live que eu não falo seus nomes. Bom, Entendi. Me fala seu Insta para a gente trocar uma ideia. Bom, meu Insta é o meu próprio nome, que é Brian Jordan. Simples assim. É só encontrar meu... Só pesquisar o meu nome no Insta que vai encontrar.
I've got something urgent to report. Romeu and his folks have gathered outside Poisson and even shipped in a huge pile of explosives.
What? Explosives? What do they want?
It seems like they've been planning this for some time. We started investigating as soon as we received your letter yesterday. But Romeu and his folks must have gotten wind as well, because they abandoned their former posts before we could even check on them. We investigated their tracks and found out that they're after Poisson.
They have smartened up since we caught them red-handed at the court?
Falou aqui. E a foto? Bom, é o meu rosto de Onqua. É o meu próprio rosto.
Seems like they've got no interest in sitting down and talking at all. We should have gone straight to the Maison Gardiennage.
Sorry, I underestimated the situation. Well, too late now, I suppose. Florent, where are they keeping their explosives?
On the hill to the east of Poisson, near the Clementine line.
They want to blow up the Clementine line?
Certainly sounds like it.
Romeu and his followers hate the Spina and everything to do with Callus. And the Aquabus was the source of their contention. If they manage to blow up the Aquabus line, all that rubble will come crashing down the hill and straight into Poisson.
Ele perguntou aqui. Quer dizer, na verdade, eu tô falando. Nem sei como é o seu rosto. Bom, é muito simples. Eu tenho um dos vídeos que eu fiz do GTA 6, que é do trailer, aí no meu canal, que você vai encontrar aí o meu rosto e que você vai ver. A minha foto no Insta é eu bem arrumado.
Are they insane? There's tons of innocent people in Poisson!
Yeah. If they've been planning this for ages, they're definitely not going to let this opportunity slip by. We have to issue an evacuation order to the townspeople and get them as far away from the entrance as possible. That should save them from the worst of it.
Let's get everyone onto our ship. That should be the safest place.
My dear partner, can I leave the Clementine line to you? If the explosives do go off, not only would the people of Poisson be in danger, any aquabuses using the line would plummet to the ground. Let's stop their insanity first, then settle the score with them.
Leave it to us, Navia. Please stay safe, too.
Let's go, you two. We've got to act fast. Miss Coralie, please take Adele to the ship.
Watch out, boss! What do you think you're doing, Coulter?
I thought all the annoying little hindrances had left, but I still couldn't get rid of you.
You mean this was all a trick? So that you'd be left alone with me? Oh. I get it now. You knew about their plans all along. You only told us they were doing badly so that we'd drop our guard.
Not quite. Though I share their positions on some issues, I've never cared for his more radical ideas. And that's because, out of the entire Spina di Rosula, I only hate you. Only you, Navia.
You better stick close to me.
Romeu promised me that he would leave Poisson alone if I could just take you out. But it was like you were glued at the hip to that pesky traveler. You never gave me a chance to make my move. Romeo has lost his patience. I didn't have to be here today, you know. But I swore that I'd kill you, even if it meant being buried with you in the rubble.
Why?
Only someone as clueless about the past as you would ask such a foolish question. You never saw the heyday of Spina di Rosula, nor did you ever live through the golden age of Poisson. But I saw it all with my own eyes, and then I had to watch it all die, little by little. And it was all because of you, Navia.
Ele já foi no Insta, disse que tá pronto, então tá. E uma coisa que eu fiquei bem chocado aqui agora, eu devia saber que o Coulter era algum cúmplice do Homer. Nossa, cara, eu tava certo, cara. Eu tava certo que o Coulter era o cúmplice do Romeo. Tava na cara, porque eu consigo ver os personagens que eles estão tramando através de seus visuais. Dá pra ver isso, dá pra ver. E agora o Coulter mostrou a cara.
Clementine died because of you. Callus died because of you. Malus and Silver died because of you. And so many more dead. Everyone dead. All.
So the shock and grief you showed us before, that was in Act 2?
Now you're catching on. I heard Malus was dead the moment I got out. Did you know? Down there in that blasted fortress, I spent a long time thinking about what happened, and resolving to apologize to Malus as soon as I got out. Back then, because of that aqua bus, we had a huge fallout. I was convinced that all he cared about was loyalty, and that he had completely lost his capacity for critical thinking. The years passed by in a blur after that. I thought I had finally begun to understand him, and that he could help me relive the good old days again. But then he died, and it was because of you again, Navia. It's always because of you. I once loved the Spina and Poisson more than anyone else. But what is left now of either besides death and ruin? You've single-handedly destroyed everything that was beautiful.
Don't listen to him, boss! He's just spouting nonsense!
Have you ever considered that maybe the people around you don't actually care about you at all? Have you ever considered that maybe you only get respect because you're Callus and Clementine's child? That you've never done anything worthy? That you're just a big nothing? Have you ever considered that maybe people don't stay in Poisson because of you, but only because they have such beautiful memories of the past?
Because if you do falter, there'll inevitably come a time when you'll have to face the consequences. And when that time comes, those most precious to you really will throw themselves in front of you. Yeah, looking back on it now as an adult, I can hardly believe how patient and kind everyone was.
O Sato aqui falou: quanto tempo você é youtuber? Olha, eu sou youtuber desde o final de 2019. Eu sou um youtuber mais ou menos já faz uns 19, 20, 21, 22, uns 4 anos. 2023 vai ser o 5º. O YouTube não ajuda mais as pessoas a conseguir mais tantos inscritos, então eu levei bastante tempo para conseguir ganhar mais. Como o YouTube não ajuda, tô lutando para ter mais inscritos. Eu não sabia que o YouTube era uma plataforma que não ajudava as pessoas a conseguir inscritos, então só fui saber disso através de outros youtubers. Então eu sou um youtuber já faz uns 4 anos.
But is that really why they support me? Is their kindness real?
Shut your mouth! I, for one, really like Miss Navia. And my mom loves her too! I don't know how to explain it, but I like her. And that's that!
I'm sure Mr. Malus would be extremely disappointed in you right now. You've somehow managed to pin the blame for every mistake and tragedy in our history on the boss herself.
Get out of the way, Florent. I don't want to hurt you.
You're gonna have to. Boss, there's no time for this. Stop hesitating and get out of here before you get buried.
Maybe you think you're being the realist by painting the history of the Spina and Poisson like this. But the love that I felt from everyone was just as real. I felt it. They've helped me get to where I am. And even now, I will continue to believe in that love. So let me show you just how much I love the
Você cometeu um grande erro, Coulter. Vamos lá, Návia. Mostra pra ele como se faz. Toma isso, seu otário. Nossa, ó quanta apelação. Ó quanta apelação. Dá pra ver que a nave é forte mesmo, hein?
Florent, I'll leave the town to you. Summon the other members and help with the evacuation of the townspeople. If you find any of Coulter's accomplices, subdue them quickly, and don't give them the chance to harm any ordinary civilians. I can't allow my partner to face the danger on the Clementine line alone.
Got it, boss. I'm on it. Are you okay, Navia?
I don't know, but I have to go.
Let's hurry up there! We have to protect the Clementine line! If they're gonna blow up the waterway, they must have planted the explosives next to the support pillars.
Chega ao destino em 158 segundos. Descobrimos a verdadeira face do Coulter. Ele culpa a nave pelo tudo que aconteceu em Spina de Azula. Ele culpa o que aconteceu com o Melos e o Silver. Ele culpa a nave pra tudo. Tudo. Dá pra ver. É fácil culpar uma pessoa, uma coisa que ela não teve culpa, e a pessoa não tá nem aí, mesmo assim culpa ele. Vamos depressa, depressa. Ali!
The wind knows me. Clouds high. The birds call.
You can't run.
Aí vamos ver o que tem agora. Minha nossa! Era explosivo mesmo!
Huh? There's a strangely shaped hole here. What is it for? Oh, that certainly sounds possible. Maybe one of the people we just beat up has the key. Okay, you take this side, Paimon will take the other. Let's see what we can find. Oh, you found it! That's amazing! That should do it, right? Navi and Florent should be able to relax now. Oh, you're right. They could have set explosives elsewhere, too. Let's go. They're gonna bury Poisson!
Leave the rest to me.
Watch out, Navia! You can't block them all!
Block? I'm doing this the Spina way.
Cara, que foda essa cena! Mostrou alumínio mudando o elemento do hydro, que é o elemento água, pra gel nessa cutscene. Nossa, cara, é o que o pessoal espera disso da viajante na atualização, quando a gente conseguir todas as partes de hydros. Não, dos poderes de visões de outras regiões.
Do you plan to settle this privately with them?
I have nothing more to say to them. Regardless of whether their hatred and anger towards me or the Spina was justified, anyone who's willing to endanger innocent civilians is no longer sane enough to even be worth trying to talk to. Please, prosecute them in accordance to the law. Spina di Rosula will not raise any objection.
Sounds good. We're very appreciative of your help. Without it, the consequences would have been far worse. All right, this operation is a wrap. Take him away.
We won, Navia! We saved everyone! And you were so cool!
Yeah. Luckily, we were just in time. It's probably because I expended too much elemental energy at once. I'll be fine. Don't worry about me.
But you usually glow up whenever other people compliment you. Paimon's not used to seeing you like this.
Boss, we managed to catch all the infiltrators in the town. The Maison Gardiennage is taking them away as well. Seems like Romeu really went all in on this mission. If he sent literally everyone he had, though, that also means we've caught them all, too. We won't have to worry about them from now on.
Got it. That's good, at least. Coulter, I can understand how you feel. The things that we lost, they're forever beyond our grasp now. And that makes them appear even more precious. I am not callous, and I will also never become him. The Spina and the Poisson that you loved are both gone. But I will not change how I feel about our future. I still believe that this is a great opportunity to start anew. I will spend more of what the Spina earns on the betterment of Poisson. What's more, I'd also like to propose some changes to the Aquabus routes, so that one day, the people of Poisson will enjoy the boons it brings as well.
I know what you're trying to say. Mr. Callus would never have said anything like that. There are too many things in life that are just beyond our control. In that, we are the same.
Henceforth, you are no longer a member of Spina di Rosula. But once you're discharged from the fortress again, you're welcome to pay another visit to Poisson.
Thank you. No.
As I thought. Boss really is a kind and gentle person.
She is also, I must say, a truly unlucky person. Thank you for protecting the Clementine line. I was actually really scared, you know. I mean, even the Callus line won't be getting rebuilt anytime soon. If I'd lost the Clementine line too, I wouldn't know how to live with myself. A name is a way to etch a memory onto the world. Losing the line that bears her name, that I can see every day, would be like losing my mother all over again. seeing it still standing there, tall and proud, it makes me really happy.
What happened while we were gone? Honestly, you look more upset than tired or anything.
Just give her some time.
Thank you so much. Can you get... Traveler, I want to ask you something. And please, tell me the truth. Do you really see me as your partner?
Of course.
That's good then. Hearing that, it brings me more relief than I can say.
Também foi legal essa parte da arte, da Lumine carregando a nave, cara. Foi até legal essa parte.
Any better after taking a break?
E que bom que a Lumine falou alguma coisa.
I feel quite a bit better. But I should probably still rest for a few more days. Sorry, partner. I said some weird things earlier. Feel free to just ignore me. I used to think that I'd never doubt myself. But you could say I've discovered that I'm not as strong as I thought I was. Coulter mentioned my parents, as well as Malus and Silver. It's all thanks to them that I've made it this far in life. Do you think they ever regretted the choices they made? Has my existence made this world a better place?
Don't think like that, Navia. You've already done more than enough. No matter what others think, we'll always support you to the end of the world.
Well, since it's ended up like this, I suppose it's time for me to make a confession as well. There's something that I've been keeping from you as well, boss. Please, follow me. Everything is already prepared.
Você gosta muito de Genshin Impact. Sim, eu gosto muito. Eu conheço muito a história do Genshin, principalmente os personagens e o universo dele, principalmente como funciona. Não é só o Genshin que conheço, que é da Royalverse, a empresa que criou o jogo. Também conheço outros jogos da Royalverse, como o Honkai Impact, que é um jogo de celular, que não é muito conhecido aqui no Brasil porque não tem tradução em português. Também o Honkai Star Rail, que eles lançaram nesse ano, também ganhou o melhor prêmio do jogo do ano, de mobile. E também o próximo jogo que eles vão criar é Zenis, que também vai ser outro jogo da Royalverse. Eu conheço muita coisa da Royalverse, do jogo da Royalverse. Principalmente outros jogos que são parecidos do Genshin, como Thor Funds, Punish Grave, Hunter Graves, entre outros. São uma cacetada enorme de jogos parecidos do jogo da Royalverse. Bom, pelo menos o Honkai Impact e o Genshin pelo menos. Então sim, eu gosto. Mas eu também gosto muito de jogos de luta e também de outros gêneros, como jogos de mundo aberto. Só não jogo muito GTA porque o jogo abusa muito de você precisar de amigos para poder jogar. Mas mesmo assim, eu curto jogar GTA. Tô até fazendo uma série desse jogo aqui no canal.
Florent, I hope you can understand that I can't deal with any more shocking revelations right now.
Don't worry. This surprise will be a pleasant one.
Ainda não acabou a história? Tem mais? Tudo bem. Vamos até o fim essa história. Mas foi legal ver essa parte da história da Navia, dela superando seus problemas pessoais e querendo ser uma boa líder. E aquele cara do Coulter culpando a Navia pelos problemas que... Ué... Ah não, era só neblina. É assim como todo jogo tem. É mais fácil culpar a pessoa do que a pessoa não tinha capacidade de fazer o que tinha que fazer naquele momento. Mas dá pra entender que o Coulter, ele reconhece que a Navia se arrepende muito do que aconteceu na Espinha do Azul e quer recomeçar do zero. Tomara como vai ser a próxima personagem do jogo. Já até vazaram informações dos próximos personagens, principalmente a Redentora de Nuvens, que todo mundo quer essa personagem só porque tem um passado muito interessante de Liyue.
Why is everyone gathered here? And what's this?
This was supposed to be a gift to you from everyone in the town. We were originally planning to show it to you once it was finished, but special times call for special measures. I've never seen you look so defeated before. So I've decided to show you the designs before the final product was done.
Do I really look that bad?
Well, if you're ready, I'll unveil the present.
Papa, Mother, and me.
We designed the look for Miss Clementine based on old camera records, as well as personal recollections from members of the Spina.
Wow! This is the statue you mentioned before?
It is indeed. To be honest, we decided on the design a long time ago, and gave the sculptor permission to begin working. We only asked Boss to decide on a design so she wouldn't realize we had already started.
How could we only have statues of Mr. Callus and Mrs. Clementine?
Even though Boss is still young, we've all seen the work she's put in regarding the whole synth business and the...
We wanted to commemorate her contributions with a statue as well.
I don't know what Spina di Rosula was like in the past, but I know it's a great organization now.
With Navia around, we're not worried about this place's future.
We're gathered here today to tell our boss that we support you and believe in you wholeheartedly. I believe everyone is here for you, not the glory days.
That's what we believe as well.
Thank you so much, everyone. Then I'll be brave and just accept everyone's support for what it is. This really is quite the surprise. I never thought that I'd have the chance to stand next to my mother. Not even in my wildest dreams.
E concluímos a história da quest da Navia. Cara, foi até lindo esse final aqui, eu tenho que admitir. Ainda mais mostrando o real... A real aparência do pai da Navia, principalmente a mãe dela. Entre outras coisas, cara, foi muito lindo essa final da quest dela. Foi muito lindo mesmo. Até consegui aqui algumas gemas graças à missão que eu fiz. Vou lá na guilda de aventureiros pegar essa recompensa, pois eu não consegui pegar a Navia ainda. O banner dos personagens requer muita querer sorte para conseguir pegar os personagens. Mas quem tem bastante dinheiro e consegue muito dinheiro no YouTube para conseguir com os personagens de 5 estrelas que eles tanto querem, aí com eles. Mas já pessoas como eu que só ganha gemas através jogando, a gente pega mesmo assim os personagens. Alguns até reclamam que o personagem é ruim e tal, mas é só o pessoal saber jogar com eles. Tô até surpreso que a Navia conseguiu superar a Hayaka, pois muita gente é fã dessa personagem. Muito fã mesmo. E a Navia superar essa aí foi um milagre. Foi um milagre mesmo, pois nem todo personagem do Genshin consegue superar o outro que eles tanto ama. E foi até muito legal eu aqui conhecer o nosso camarada Giovan Sato, que a gente bateu um papinho aqui. Também é um criador de conteúdo, faz vídeos sobre notícias de jogos e tem um montão de coisas que esse cara faz. Ele também merece ter um ótimo apoio. Bom, galera, essa foi minha live. Espero que vocês tenham gostado e se inscreve no canal, ative o sininho para ver os próximos vídeos e dê seu like e fica por dentro do crescimento dos jogos. E bora, galera! Fui!